Hey guys, I'm Rex from Uncured, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play my lead in our new song, Terminal. For this video, I'll be using my Schecter JL7, standard 7-string tuning with a Floyd Rose bridge. This lead is straight 16th notes at 181 beats per minute, and it gets played over 3 different yet similar backing riffs. It combines sweep picking, right hand tapping, and inside alternate picking. I personally find the alternate picking to be the easiest for me to play because I can align my hands better on that than I can on sweeps. I wanted this lead to sound good no matter what tempo it's played at, which is one of the reasons that it has some wide intervals, which is more common in slow melodic playing than in shredding. The lead starts with the second inversion B minor sweep starting on the A string, with a series of taps on the minor 6th and 7th once I get to the high E string. It's important to note that the first time I play a G, I tap it with my right hand, and the second time I stretch my third finger to the F sharp, which allows me to play the G with my pinky so I can tap the A note that follows. In the last 2 beats of the second measure, I descend a B minor sweep, but I replace the first note F sharp with an E note to give the impression of a key change, which is one of my favorite parts of the whole passage. For some reason though, I find that sweep to be the most difficult, even though it only covers 4 strings and not 5. That whole explanation boils down to only 2 measures. Here they are. I'll play them at 2/3 tempo. The next 2 measures are a continuation and completion of the first 2. I do another turnaround on the upper register of that same B minor sweep, but there's one very unusual tap on the upbeat of 2. I pick the D note on the E string while I'm moving my right hand over the fretboard to tap on B. And then at that same time, my left hand, I move my first finger up to the 14th fret for a pull-off, and then I reach my third finger up to B so that I can play a little turnaround with the C note a half step above it. I do something similar to this in my outro solo in Petrified, but this one is a little bit more difficult. The C note isn't accidental, but it coincides with the backing that Zach is playing. I then go into a 3-string D major sweep starting on the 4th instead of the expected 5th. The next measure is just a quick hammer pull sequence on the B string with some large stretches, but be sure not to nick the E string on any of these. So here's all that together at 2/3 tempo. These next 2 measures are the exact same as one another, the only difference being the last 3/8 notes of each. I start with a B minor sweep, but I end the first one with a turnaround in C sharp and a tap on G. In the following measure, I play a similar sequence, but the last 3/8 notes are moved up a 4th. This means that the G becomes a C, which is something that I've been doing more and more recently. The second degree I play diatonically when I'm on the lower of the 2 octaves, but when I move it up an octave, I turn it into a flat 9th by just bringing it down a half step. I do a similar trick with the 7th degree later in this passage. Be sure to roll your third finger from the 5th to the octave when you're on the bottom of these B minor sweeps, and when they do repeat, make sure you skip the D string. The final 2 measures before everything repeats may seem pretty simple because they're just alternate picked runs, but be aware of the inside picking and make sure not to come in contact with the string you just downstroked as you move to the next string. In the first run, make sure to stretch your first finger to the 14th fret while your middle finger is on the 20th fret of the B string. This half step may seem like a bit of a reach, but rolling your wrist inwards and tucking your elbow into your side can make it a lot easier. In the last measure, I play a B flat instead of an A natural because it sounds more evil. I skip a string to get back into the first note where the passage repeats. It may be very tempting to play this as a hammer-on, but it definitely sounds better when you pick it, so make sure to do that. So here are the last 2 measures of this passage. In this whole passage, I hit the chromatic notes A, B flat, B, C, and D flat, but it all sounds natural because the accidentals are non-sequential. This means that I have given the listener just enough time for their brain to recalibrate to a scale centered in B. The second time through this entire passage, I play a different ending run to transition into whatever the next part is. There are 2 versions of this, so I'll play them both for you now. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to contact me personally on Instagram or Facebook if you have any extra questions or need any tips to get this part up to full speed. Make sure to check out Terminal on Spotify and come out to a show and see it live.